All right, let's talk about something you've definitely seen in politics, even if you didn't have a name for it. We're going to decode a really powerful and honestly often confusing force in public life called symbol politics. Once you see how it works, you'll start noticing it everywhere.
You ever just watch the news and scratch your head? Some new law gets passed, there's all this heated debate, but at the end of the day, it doesn't seem to actually fix anything for anyone. It just feels like a big performance. Well, what if that's exactly the point?
Well, there's actually a name for this, symbol politics. And the core idea is really simple. The political action itself isn't really about the practical result. It's all about the message it sends. It's politics where the signal is the substance. So, to really get a handle on this, let's start by thinking about the political world as one giant stage.
Okay, so you can really break politics down into two different camps, right? On one side, you've got what we'll call substantive politics. This is the, well, kind of boring but super important stuff, technical, detailed solutions designed to solve actual concrete problems. But on the other side, you've got symbol politics. And here, the focus is totally different. It's all about the signal value. The goal isn't to fix a problem, but to express a value. And the method? It's almost always a direct appeal to our emotions.
So how does this actually work in the real world? Well, it's not random. There's a playbook that politicians follow, whether they even realize it or not. It really comes down to three basic steps. First, the signal is always more important than the effect. It doesn't really matter if a law actually reduces crime, as long as it sends the message that you're tough on crime. Next, these actions are laser-focused on our emotions. They tap right into our sense of justice, our fears, or our core identity. And finally, they often zero in on specific, smaller groups that happen to generate a lot of media buzz. This lets a politician make a huge symbolic splash with what might be a relatively minor action. And here are some perfect real-world examples. A ban on certain face coverings might not actually change society that much, but it sends a powerful message about defending Western values. Proposing harsher prison sentences signals that you stand for law and order, even if experts say it won't actually stop criminals. Each one of these policies is really just a message written in the language of law. Okay, so you get the concept, right? It's all about messaging over practical results. But this is where the whole idea gets this fascinating twist, and it reveals a deep, deep irony that's right at the heart of politics. I mean, we've all heard this line before, haven't we? A politician stands up and promises to be different. No more games, they say. We're just going to focus on what's real. But here's the paradox. Making that promise is the ultimate act of symbol politics. Think about it. When a politician declares they are above using symbols, they're sending the strongest signal of all, that they are the serious, rational adult in the room. By rejecting the game, they're sending a message that they're morally superior to everyone else who plays it. I absolutely love this analogy. It's perfect. Promising no more symbol politics is exactly like wearing a t-shirt that screams, "I don't care about fashion." The statement you're wearing is itself a very loud fashion statement. You just can't escape the symbol. And look, this isn't just some niche theory that academics debate. It is a fundamental tool used in politics all over the world. In the United States, for example, they have a whole vocabulary for this stuff. You've probably heard terms like virtue signaling, that's making a statement just to show you have the right morals. Or pandering, which is basically changing your tune to please a specific group. Or dog whistling, using coded language that only your base really understands. They're all just different tactics from the very same playbook. And when you get right down to it, all of these tactics, these symbolic jabs, these grand gestures, they're all weapons in a much bigger fight. The culture war. That's the real arena here, where the battle isn't over budget percentages, but over identity, over values, and over a fundamental us versus them story. So why does all this matter so much right now? Because in the world we're living in, that line between a mere symbol and a hard, cold reality is starting to get very, very blurry. Let's be honest with ourselves. For most of us, a detailed debate about a 5% budget change is, well, it's psychologically inaccessible. It's complicated. It's dry. But an argument about our national identity and our core values, that is emotionally engaging. We are just hardwired to care about those big symbolic fights. But here's the big shift we're seeing. Today's major global crises, conflicts, energy shortages, all of it, they're creating a new kind of symbol. These aren't empty symbols anymore. They are heavy. They're heavy with real-world consequences. Think about it. A debate over the defense budget is no longer just a boring numbers game. Now it's a heavy symbol of freedom and national survival. Deciding which countries to align with is a symbolic act of choosing a side, but it has very real impacts on our security. And policies on energy? They aren't just symbolic of being green. They now directly affect whether you can afford to heat your home.
And that leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought. In an era that's defined by very real, very serious global crises, maybe the symbols we use to debate them aren't distractions from reality anymore. Maybe they're the most direct way we have to grasp what's truly at stake. So, are symbols actually becoming more real than ever? It's definitely something to think about.